Here are 10 secrets about the Pentagon that you don't know. It's always fun to learn something new, a little bit of history about a place you know or have heard so much about. It can be eye-opening and surprising. That's why when we heard about these Pentagon facts, we couldn't help but share them with you. More bathrooms than you can shake a stick at. The Pentagon now has double the amount of bathrooms it actually needs. This is because it was built during segregation and needed to have separate bathrooms for both white and black employees. Completed in record time. The Pentagon is so massive that you wouldn't think it could be completed very quickly, but that's not true. In fact, General Leslie R. Groves, who also oversaw the Manhattan Project, directed the building of the Pentagon and got the job done in just 2 years. No elevators. There are no elevators in the Pentagon. You can get from floor to floor using ramps. This was also done originally to conserve steel for World War II. Only 5 stories high. The Pentagon is only 5 stories high. This was done to conserve steel for World War II, which was happening at the time of its construction. The designers also kept it short because they didn't want to spoil the view of the Capitol across the Potomac River. Renovations. Since the Pentagon opened its doors in 1943, it has only had one major renovation. The renovation took 17 years and finished in 2011. Luckily, it only cost $4.5 billion. Not such a bad deal, right? 17.5 miles. You can get quite a workout just walking around the Pentagon. In total, the Pentagon has 17.5 miles of corridors. In fact, the building is such a labyrinth that General Eisenhower once got lost trying to find his office. It was nicknamed Ground Zero during the Cold War. Long before 9/11, when Ground Zero became associated with the Twin Towers, the Pentagon was known as Ground Zero. This was because if nuclear war broke out with the Soviets, it was believed they would target the Pentagon first. The Pentagon replaced a neighborhood called Hell's Bottom. When the Pentagon was built, it was on top of a poor black neighborhood known as Hell's Bottom. The area was settled by former slaves after the Civil War. It was considered sort of a red light district. Bigger than the Empire State Building. With 5,100,000 square feet of office space, the Pentagon has twice as much office space as the Empire State Building in New York. It wasn't supposed to be for the DoD. President Franklin D. Roosevelt never intended the Pentagon to be the home of the Department of Defense. In the 1930s, he commissioned another building for the War and Navy departments, but they quickly outgrew that space. That's when FDR ordered a new building that could accommodate 40,000 employees and 10,000 cars. The old War Department building is now the State Department. Did you know any of these facts actually existed? I'm a bit mind blown with the history behind the Pentagon.